I'm Mark Lello, and today's talk is called The Mobile Design of Human Rating and Liking Functionality. How many of you use mobile apps in which you provide a rating for another person? How many of you use social apps where you like other people's posts? It's amazing how many of us answered yes to those questions, when about several years ago, many of the apps with rating liking functionality that have become the social norm today did not exist on mobile devices yet. Let's discuss where those trends could lead us as humans in social behavior of the future. We are living through an epic time for human beings. Nearly everyone we know in our lives has a mobile device, typically a smartphone, within an arm's reach of them at all times during the day. It is a time in which the design of mobile devices is also changing the design of the human lifestyle. Popular apps that allow users to rate or like people and things include Uber, Airbnb, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Yelp, just to name several. So let's examine a non-social app I just mentioned versus a social app. Uber, a non-social app, allows users to rate their riders and vice versa based on a riding experience and rider interaction. Instagram and Facebook, social apps, allow users to like photos, videos, and other posts from friends or people they may or may not know all around the world. The purpose of Uber is to allow this rating system for multiple reasons. There needs to be a certain level of accountability on the driver and rider to conduct themselves in a proper way, and also to have the goal to build up a solid rating so drivers and riders have the confidence to accept and start a ride with each other. Facebook and Instagram have liking functionality so users can potentially track popular posts they enjoy viewing. But otherwise, many reasons for the liking functionality could be argued that they're for self-validation and an attempt to gain popularity in many cases. Therefore, a Facebook or Instagram user can structure their posts in specific ways with the goal to gain more likability amongst their followers, to get noticed more by others, and to drive their likability and follower numbers higher. There are people that after a picture is taken with them with a group, they would prefer that the person with the most followers and like potential should post it on Instagram or Facebook, with the goal that if their username is tagged in the photo, they will draw more people to their own profile. There are also people who will not get in an Uber if the driver rating, let's say, is not a 4.5 star rating or higher. To me, this is a prime example of how the mobile design of apps that use rating and liking functionality has influenced users to hold a certain level of standard that they believe they either deserve in the case of Uber or want to attain in the case of Instagram pic being posted. And this leads me to the question I want to ask the audience in regard to the present and where the future of this mobile design could lead us. Are humans allowing a numeric rating or like number they see on their mobile devices to define themselves and others around them? This may seem far-fetched, but I completely believe the answer is yes in many of these cases, and the number of people that fall under the answer of yes are growing. For the purpose of this topic, I'm not going to get into the why of this number growing, but I want to talk about the potential that this current mobile design has in store for us as humans. What's one rating every single American has to their name? A credit score. This rating essentially guarantees us a certain level of luxury and access to goods and services. The better the score we have essentially means, in many people's eyes, the higher class we may be. Could rating scores or like numbers of mobile design apps take us in this direction in the future? I think so. Would certain events, goods, or services be offered to a certain social score from our mobile rating if these designs kept trending in this way in the future? I believe it could if we don't slow down. Avid Uber and Instagram users already have built-in biases when they see people of a certain rating or follower or like number. Therefore, the mobile design of these functionalities can clearly change our subconscious to think about another human in a different way based on a number we see above their name on our phone. This is rather scary to think about. Let's say the world eventually took this mobile design of rating and social apps to an extreme, and there was an overall governing app on our phones that allowed us to rate and like each person we came in contact with on a day-to-day basis. Therefore, we could look at each person and view their rating as a person. This would be terrible because people will eventually start to structure their social society norms based on people with similar ratings. Then then I asked, would people's babies be born into the same rating as their parents from this design? If so, that essentially is the definition of a caste system. Additionally, having this functionality and design on a mobile app would not be fair because it would change human behavior. People would act different in a day-to-day social interaction with the hope that each person they interacted with would give them a good rating. Simply because each interaction could have an immediate rating because of the feasibility of our mobile technology and how it's at our fingertips at each moment. And ratings are not always valid. I want to make that clear because there are people with prejudices out there that can hand out a bad rating to someone even if the experience was great, but they still gave that person a bad rating because they have an internal prejudice that they acted on. I realize that all of this may seem extremely crazy, and that's okay. That was my intent. We live in a time where crazy things are happening that people didn't think would happen. So my goal as a speaker today was to talk about something that would challenge the way you think. Maybe you fall into this current category of the biased Uber rider or the aspiring 10,000 follower Instagram account. That's okay. But just try to take a step back and think about the goal you have and where it could potentially bring you. And furthermore, what tone are we setting as a society that is adopting a mobile design that validates people based on a rating or like number that is subjective or in many cases could be invalid. So all I hope for and ask is that we as humans do not allow the mobile design of applications take this step across the line in human ethics and make a number on our phones ever truly become what defines the user's humanity. And I call upon my colleagues as user experience professionals to challenge mobile design trends which could lead us in this direction. Ask questions. Don't just create a design with rating and liking functionality because it's the standard. Create a design that will improve the overarching user experience for the times to come. Thanks for listening.